We live in a controversial society. Everything you say can become a problem like this. Everything you do can offend someone somewhere. It's hard to live like this. We have this little expression in Portuguese called me, me, me. Me, me, me over here, me, me, me over there, me, me, me everywhere in where we live today. How can we live in a society like this? Well, our society and us, we are not the only ones that have experienced this. Actually, Jesus have also experienced this on his time with the Pharisees on every single corner trying to make him stumble. It's actually very similar to what we live in the social media nowadays. But how did he navigate that? Well, I want to bring two specific stories of this controversial Jesus, this polemical Jesus, and how did he live what we should be living to. The first story, Jesus is getting out of this city with his disciples, and he's hungry, and then he sees this big fig tree, and he sees that the tree is full of leaves. He goes there trying to find the fruit, but he sees nothing. And because of that, on Mark chapter 11 verse 14, he says to the tree, "You shall never bear fruit again." In the following verses, we see the disciples checking the tree again, and the tree is completely dead. When we read this, we can think, oh, where is the loving and caring Jesus? How can this Jesus be the definition of love if he kills his own creation like that just because it didn't have fruit? See how we can create problems out of something if we do not know the context. When we go deeper into the text, we see that naturally the fig tree always bears the leaves and the fruits together. And also the leaves and the fruits, they die together. So if the fig tree is full of leaves, naturally it would also have fruits. Jesus killed not just a normal tree, but a tree that focused on creating just leaves for itself and not fruit. This story is not about trees, this story is about us. Many times we can focus on ourselves instead of focusing on bearing fruits. What are the fruits that you are bearing today? Are you bearing fruits? See how easy we can make problems without the context. Where context is not valued, problems are always found. Seeking for the context is showing love and respect to what you're talking about. So if you're talking to someone that did not care enough to look for the context, it shows that the person doesn't love it enough, or it doesn't know how important it is yet. We must seek it. And we cannot just downplay Jesus to fit him in our agendas. No, we need to look for the context. We cannot read the Bible selectively. We need to get the entire thing. The same thing happens again in Matthew chapter 8. Jesus is walking through Israel, and this great crowd is following him. And one man goes to him saying that he would follow Jesus wherever Jesus would like him to follow him. And Jesus has a conversation with this man, and he does ask the man to follow him. This man could be the 13th disciple, but the man says, "Let me go and bury my father first." Jesus then says, "Let the dead bury the dead." So basically, forget about that and follow me. Reading this, we can be like, oh my God, why Jesus is being so cruel? Let the man just say bye to his father that is probably dead. But actually no. Naturally, the Jewish traditions ask you to do many little requirements whenever your father has passed away. So naturally, the man would not be following Jesus if his father actually had passed away. Well, the father was most likely not dead yet. The scholars say that. So basically, the man was saying, let me go, let me finish doing everything I need to do with my life. Let my father die first and probably get his inheritance, and then I will follow you. And Jesus says, no, just give it up, everything for me, follow me. So have in mind that in this controversial society right now, never stop looking for the context. Never stop showing love and respect to the person that you're talking to and to the subject, because that's what Jesus did. That's how we should also live our lives.